Never gets stuck yet.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about just emerging markets in general, and it's probably magnified in FCV states. There seems to be, when we talk to institutional investors, a complaint about the lack of information. There's a lack of information about the project pipelines. There's a lack of information about what's really going on in the countries. What is really the rule of law? How assured can they be about the governance of companies? And in FCV states, one would argue that that could be worse. Do you think the perception of risk, therefore, might be skewed for institutional investors just because there's a dearth of data? And is that one of the main issues for mobilizing private capital?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. The risk perception and the risk reality, there's a huge gap there. And I spend a lot of time, most of my time, in fact, trying to address that and educate folks on that kind of trade-off. Having said that, the institutional investor, all they can do and all we can do is look at ourselves in the mirror and ask, are we imposing upon countries and investment opportunities an investment yardstick that they cannot abide by? And if that's the question, then don't even start pretending to go south of the Mediterranean and invest in many of these countries, because you will never be satisfied by imposing an investment yardstick on countries that can't abide by them. What you need to do in turn, and I think there's promising development in the impact investment universe, funds such as Leapfrog, groups such as MPIA, and others are really starting to normalize the process of investing in places that are perceptually riskier than they are in reality. And what these folks are doing is sort of like panning for gold, is they're finding that despite the macro environment and despite the opaque sort of working environments that you get in many countries, there are indeed diamonds to be found. And those diamonds really are individual firms. They're regional players that are starting to demonstrate that there's commonality across many markets. And companies like CellTel and others really articulate that. So I think the easiest thing to do if you want to change the world is to change yourself. And I think investors with a lot of capital need to look at themselves in the mirror and start there, and not impose questions upon countries and investments that they know the answers will go against their grain.
So Diane, I agree with Dante that if you have